Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video, and today I have something a little bit different for you guys, and it's my first video back in about 9 days actually. I didn't do a video yesterday or the day before, and before that I was away for the Hungarian Grand Prix, away for about a week. So we're finally back, and I'm going to try and get back onto the wagon. And this video here today is something a little bit different, and something I want to make because there's been a few things, that bothered me, especially last week when I was getting ahead on videos, for this trip. When you're doing so many races back to back all the time, the same issues keep coming up, and it's really, really annoying. So these are the 5 things, in my opinion. I've got a list right in front of me. I've actually got a few more than 5, but I'm going to say that for a future video. But I've got 5 things that have to be fixed, in my opinion, right now on F1 2019. Let's jump into it. Number 1, and the biggest one for me, is the safety car and the virtual safety car. Now, I put out a tweet about 2.5 weeks ago, and I just wanted to get some general feedback from everybody in terms of their feedback on, the safety car, in terms of the consistency, inconsistency, or when they get them. And I got quite a mixed response, but there was a general theme here, and it's either you have a lot of safety cars or VSCs, or you have none at all, like literally none. I'm currently halfway through Season 2 in career mode, and the next race I've got is Singapore, and yet to this day, I'm yet to have a single VSC or a safety car, and I've had multiple crashes, retirements. Even literally in the last race in Italy, I had a multi-car, like 8 to 9 car pile-up at Parabolica in the wet, and there wasn't a safety car. So, yeah, me personally, I've had nothing at all, and I know a lot of people that tweeted me that have had no safety car VSC whatsoever, and it seems like there could be a glitch in terms of the probability of the safety car. It seems like you have either a ridiculous amount or you have nothing at all. So it's very rare you'll find someone, at least from the tweets that I received, that someone has a quite a realistic rate of safety cars or VSCs. You either have a lot, like one every race, or you have nothing at all. So yeah, that has to get fixed. I've not had nothing, VSC or safety car, not at all, in nearly 40 races in career mode so far. And I know a lot of other people that have had the exact same problem. Now, the next 4 points are going to be regarding AI. That first one was just purely safety car, but these 4 are AI related. Some of them date back to as far back as F1 2017, and some of them are this game specific. The first one, and the biggest one for me, is the AI's pace in the full wet conditions. Notice I said only in the full wet, because in the intermediate conditions or the light rain conditions, the AI for me are okay. They've got decent balance, but in the full wet, the AI are genuine gods at traction. Okay, now, a good example of this is I recently had a race at Silverstone, and Magnussen in a Haas, albeit that car is faster than me, quite a bit faster. I regularly beat Magnussen in career mode, regardless of the car he's got, because his AI isn't as quick as Charles Leclerc, who's his teammate. Now, in this race, I understand that Magnussen should be faster than me, but there's a certain inconsistency here, because I was faster than Magnussen through every single corner on entry and also mid-corner speed, but Magnussen was so much quicker on traction, and it was a little bit too uncomfortable. Every single traction zone, he was on my rear tyre, regardless of whatever exit I would have, whether it be a perfect exit or a really bad one. He would always be on my rear end, out of the final corner onto the pit straight, out of turn 4 at Silverstone onto the back straight, out of Luffield onto the old pit straight, even through out of the old turn 1 at Copse, going down towards Magnussen Beckersey to get the run on me down there, and then also out of Stowe Corner as well, down towards the final chicane. The only one he wouldn't get the exit on me was through the hangar straight, because Magus, Beggars and Chapel are not really traction zones. They're kind of medium to high speed corners, even in the wet. So you can get away with it around there. But the other corners, Magnussen was on me every single time, every single lap. And it was a little bit too uncomfortable, because I could get the most perfect exit and it was just impossible. And I've had this example at other tracks as well in the wet. I think generally if you have any wet race, you will know what I mean. And I'm not the only one that says this. A lot of people have complained about the wet weather. Now, don't get me wrong. Before the 1.05 patch, the wet conditions were too easy. You was about 2 seconds faster than the AI in the wet, 3 seconds faster. But now they've gone to the other extreme. They're way too fast. So there has to be some kind of control there. Me personally, I would increase or improve their performance in cornering entry and also mid-corner speed, and I would significantly reduce their traction. They're just way too good. Also, it seems like the AI, the player itself, us, we seem to suffer with tire overheating, especially in the full wets, and the AI do not. So again, I'd maybe add some tire overheating to the AI and take some off us, or try and balance it, because they don't seem to suffer from it, whilst we, the racer, absolutely do. The next one is one that's been in the game since F1 2017, and I made my point and I moaned about it very clearly last year, and I'm going to do it again here, because it's a thing that does annoy me, especially as a career mode content creator, and it only gets worse. The further you get into career mode and the faster the cars get, it's an issue that gets worse and worse. So let's jump into it. It's called AI time simulation inconsistency. Now, this is a very simple glitch, and you can test this out for yourselves. I urge you to test it out, and you will see exactly what I mean. I'm pretty sure the majority of people who watch this video and test it will probably have the issue. You've just maybe never noticed, or some people have it worse than others. Pretty much, if you load up a race weekend, whether it be Grand Prix mode or career mode, you go into a qualifying session. Let's say a short qualifying session, which is 18 minutes long. You load up the session. Here's what will happen. First of all, do the session. And don't simulate time. Do the entire 18 minutes, and what you have to do is you have to go out on track manually, come back to the pits manually. Don't return to garage. Don't do flying lap. Do the session as if it were real life, and you've got to do it all manually for 18 minutes. And also, crucially, make sure when the checkered flag drops, you're on the track doing a lap. Don't be in the garage, because otherwise the glitch will occur when it fades from the actual onboard to a black screen to the results. That's when the glitch happens as well. So make sure you're going to track manually, return to garage manually. You're watching the entire 18 minutes. You're not simulating the session. And also, when the session ends, you're on track, so that basically you're the last car to cross the line, back to the pits, wherever it may be. You need to make sure you're the last car. And don't get caught out with lap time. Make sure that you're on a lap, when the checker flag drops, that all the cars overtake you and be the last one to finish the session, okay? What you will see is at the end of the session, you will see all the lap times and your own lap times as well. And that's a good reference point, because that's what the AI's true pace is when it comes to the difficulty you're using. The glitch happens when, let's say you're doing another short qualifying session. This time, you load up the session, and what you'll do is go onto track, but go via on the options in the bottom right in the garage. If you go to the track, instead of manually going out on track and driving out, if you go via flying lap, it cuts to a black screen, and then you go onto the track. That 1.5 minutes of time you've lost, the AI have set some ridiculous lap times. And again, do your lap, do your time lap, go back to the pit lane, return to garage, and return to garage via the options. When you pause the game, press whatever button you want, go return to garage, the actual option on there. And again, you will lose 1.5 minutes of the session. It will fade to a black screen, and more lap times, ridiculous lap times that are not consistent, would have been set. Again, you can do the whole session like this, and then also the final test is at the end of the session. At the end of the session, make sure that when you cross the line, this is the opposite of what I said before. So when you cross the line, make sure you're the first car to cross the line and retire from session, or you finish a time lap and the checker flag's out. You're the first car to do it on the final run in qualifying, and then everybody else sets their laps after you once you've done yours. What will happen is if you've done it right and the checker flag's out, make sure the checker flag's properly out. The session's done. You cross the line, and then you cut to black. Basically, you don't have control of the car anymore. You can't do a manual in lap. You cut to black. You will see the results. You will see more glitch lap times. Okay, so this is various ways of seeing it. Also, in the garage, if you're sitting in the garage, if you simulate time times 5, times 10, times 30, you will get ridiculous lap time set. Basically, test that out, do a short session, do one where you do everything manual, you don't do no simulating of time, and do another session where you basically do all the time simulation as possible, and basically try to get through the session as fast as you can. And you will see the lap time difference for yourselves, and I haven't got to explain it, I'll show you. You will see exactly what I mean. The AI, I would say, are easily to half second to a second faster, so that has to be fixed. It's been in the game since 2017, and it gets worse in career mode, because the faster the cars get in career mode, and when you really hit that kind of top end of the AI development, or sorry, the performance development on the cars, that gap only gets bigger. So yeah, that has to be fixed, and it's really, really urgent, because it is annoying in career mode. It really, really is. The next one is AI difficulty inconsistency. Now, what I mean by this is the difficulty setting at the start of every race weekend. There's two different sections to this point. First of all, there's the session-specific difficulty. The AI are quicker in qualifying than they are in the race, but that is partly down to, like I said before, the time simulation glitch. However, I still think they are a little bit faster. For example, I always find myself going down 1% from qualifying to race, because the AI do seem to have a lot more pace in qualifying over one lap. Point 2, and this is the main one for me, is track to track. Now, this isn't, I know what I'm like as a driver, and I'm very consistent, and I'm not trying to be big-headed here, but I'm not stupid. You know, I'm not going to have my intelligence insulted here, so I know what I'm talking about when I say this. And the same issues happen to everybody else. There's a series of tracks in F1 2019 where the AI are just way too strong. And if I say these, you guys might know exactly what I mean, because if you've raced career mode or Grand Prix mode, you'll know exactly what it means. So first of all, Bahrain. It's been a tricky track for 2 years now. This year, I'd say it's still difficult, but it's actually been overshadowed by another couple of tracks, which I'll get onto in a minute. But Bahrain's still a tricky one. You have to lower the AI going into that race because they're really, really tricky. This year, China is very hard, in my opinion. They've made it a little bit too difficult. Last year was too easy. This year is too hard. And also, the next track is Baku. Again, that's another one for 2 years now where the AI have been very, very strong. And those 3 tracks back to back to back, Bahrain, China, Azerbaijan, they're all very tricky. Then you got to go to France, Paul Ricard. This one is in the top 2 hardest tracks for the AI. They are so strong around there. And that goes hand in hand with Suzuka. Now, Japan, Suzuka, and France, those 2 tracks especially, I run the lowest AI setting around there that I can run, like 104. At my peak, for example, Silverstone, I'd say is the best track for AI for me this year. And I find them the easiest around there. In Silverstone, I can run 108. At France and Japan, I run 104, and my average is about 106 around most tracks, if you get what I mean. So, yeah, for me, that has to be fixed. Bahrain, China, Baku, France, and Japan are the 5 for me that are really, really, really just consistently too hard, regardless of, you know, your car, your setup, your pace. I struggle to get out of Q1, you know, that kind of thing. It's really, really odd. And for me, in my opinion, those tracks have to be looked at and tweaked slightly. Like I said, for me, I find my average is around 106 because I can do 108 at Silverstone, 107 at a couple of other tracks, 108 at Australia, 107 at Australia. But generally speaking, I have 106 as an average. And on screen, I would have put the Excel chart, which I kept tabs of so far in my career mode experience. And then the final point is also, like I said before, AI related. And this one for me is very simple. And last year was pretty good. This year, they've got it a bit wrong. And it's the starts. I've done nearly 40 races, and I've never managed to get a better start than the AI. Regardless of however good start I get, I find it impossible. Simple as that. I just cannot get... I can get good starts for me, what I can do, you know, but compared to the AI, I always lose positions on that straight down towards turn 1. Then I make up the positions under braking, but I always lose out on the starts, regardless of whatever I do. So that has to be fixed. And the general theme here, if you consider the wet pace of the AI, how bad their starts are, and then also, in my opinion, their overall pace in terms of when they run glitchy pace, the AI are generally too good at traction. Now, I understand, and if you guys didn't know, the AI are coded to have traction control on them. Like, the AI have traction control. They've had it since F1 2017, 16, maybe even before that. The AI's coding has traction control in it. And there's certain tracks and certain times when it's just made too strong. And overall, the theme of this video is AI's traction needs to be reduced slightly, and that would balance it up a bit. And also, the AI need to suffer from tyre wear and tyre temperatures like we do, the player. With that being said, guys, that is going to be it for this video, and I try to keep my points, you know, relatively short, concise, to the point, whilst making myself very clear. And hopefully, those 5 things get addressed soon, because in my opinion, if these 5 things got fixed, the gameplay experience would be a lot better and a lot more fun for us, the player. With that being said, guys, if you did enjoy the video, drop a like, leave your comments down below in terms of your own feedback and what you find might be missing or what's off in the game. Tell me if you agree with my points, disagree with my points, and let me know in the comments down below. Thumbs up each other's comments if you see one that you agree with as well. It'd be good for me to get some feedback. And yeah, guys, hopefully enjoy the video. I'll see you in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.